The auction hall was silent, the kind of silence that screamed tension. Crystals floated above the high, domed ceiling, casting fractured light over the polished obsidian floor. Rows of alien dignitaries, their eyes glinting with curiosity and caution, murmured among themselves, their voices a low hum of speculation. On the central platform, restrained by luminous energy shackles, stood the feral alien warrior. Its skin shimmered with the deep blue of storm clouds, muscles coiled like springs under taut sinew. Eyes, pale and unblinking, scanned the crowd with predatory intelligence. Every detail of its presence radiated danger. Its claws scratched lightly against the transparent force field, a sound that sent an involuntary shiver through the spectators. Feral warrior from the Clivax sector, the auctioneer announced, voice amplified and devoid of emotion. Unbroken, untrained, potential unlimited. Starting bid, 10,000 credits. A ripple of nervous laughter passed through the hall. Several bids were made, tentative at first, then withdrawn almost immediately as the creature bared its teeth, letting out a low, guttural growl that echoed through the domed chamber. The dignitaries leaned back in their chairs, careful not to provoke the beast. No one dared bid, until a single human raised his hand. He was a solitary figure at the far end of the hall, barely noticed until now. His armor was scratched and worn, his face streaked with dust and sweat from long journeys through uncharted territories. The human's hand lifted with the casual confidence of someone who had faced far worse than an alien auction. The room froze. Whispers cascaded like a wave of disbelief. You would bid?" A luminescent alien beside him stammered. "On a feral Clivax warrior." The human met the alien's gaze evenly. "I'm not here to worry about what others think. I see potential." The auctioneer's voice cut through the tension. 10,000 credits confirmed. "Shall we proceed?" The energy shackles on the warrior flared slightly as if aware of the human's intent. Its growl deepened, vibrating through the platform like a warning, but the human didn't flinch. He stepped forward, eyes locked with the alien predator. "I'll raise to 20,000, he said, voice steady. Each word carried the weight of experience, survival, and an understanding that most of these aliens could never comprehend. The hall erupted into murmurs of disbelief. No one had dared raise their bid, not even once. The feral warrior's gaze followed the human intently, nostrils flaring, claws tapping against the energy field in a rhythm that could have been interpreted as impatience or anticipation. 30,000, the human continued. The other bidders remained silent, their silence a mix of caution and fear. They were content to watch, unwilling to risk what could only end in disaster. 40. The auctioneer hesitated, aware of the unprecedented nature of this transaction. 40,000 credits, going once, going twice. The warrior's growl became a low rumble, and the shackles strained against its strength. It lunged forward, energy barriers quivering, teeth glinting in the fractured light. The spectators flinched as the human moved a step closer, his hand raised, not in fear, but in a gesture of challenge and command. The room held its collective breath. And then something remarkable happened. The warrior tilted its head, studying the human with an almost human curiosity. It stopped thrashing, muscles relaxing slightly. In that fleeting moment, an unspoken understanding passed between them, an acknowledgement of mutual respect, of recognition that this human was not an enemy to be feared, but a master worth following. The auctioneer hesitated. Sold to the human. A ripple of shock passed through the hall. Whispers became murmurs of amazement, and a few bold dignitaries even clapped. The feral warrior didn't roar or resist. Instead, it allowed the energy shackles to dissipate under the auctioneer's command. Its massive frame stepped down from the platform and approached the human, who extended a hand without hesitation. The warrior sniffed, its cold, alien nostrils flaring, then lowered its head to touch the human's hand. There was a softness in the gesture that no one could have predicted, an unspoken acknowledgement of a bond forged in the span of a heartbeat. You've tamed it?" another alien asked incredulously. The human shook his head slowly. "Not tamed. Respected. It will fight alongside me because it chooses to." The crowd fell silent, digesting the audacity of the human's claim. Respect over domination, a concept many species had never embraced. Weeks passed since the auction, and the human and the Clivax warrior became a legendary pair. On distant battlefields they moved as one. Where the warrior's ferocity led, the human's strategy and cunning followed. Enemy forces that once scoffed at humans now fled in terror at the combination of intellect and raw power. It wasn't just combat that defined their partnership. The warrior, once feral and untrusting, began to show signs of loyalty, even attachment. At night, when the stars shimmered over their encampment, the alien would sit quietly, head resting on the human's shoulder. A symbiotic relationship blossomed, rooted not in fear, but in understanding. Yet not all challenges came from the battlefield. Political factions in the Galactic Council grew uneasy. A human commanding a Clivax warrior, a creature thought uncontrollable, was unprecedented. Envoys arrived with veiled threats, suggesting the warrior be returned or neutralized for the good of the galaxy. The human listened patiently, eyes calm, voice unwavering. "You don't understand," he told them firmly. "This isn't ownership. It's choice. It's trust. You can't legislate loyalty." The envoys were unimpressed, but none dared challenge him openly. The warrior, standing silently beside its human companion, radiated a presence that brooked no argument. The ultimate test came when a rogue faction of mercenaries attempted to capture a colony on a remote mining planet. The human and his Clivax warrior arrived as reinforcements, their reputation preceding them. The moment the mercenaries saw the towering alien alongside the human, chaos erupted. Blades clashed, plasma fired, and the Clivax warrior moved with lethal precision, protecting the human and civilians alike. Yet, it never acted without the human's command, proving that their bond was not one of domination, but partnership. By the end of the battle, the mercenaries were either captured or fled into the void, their arrogance shattered by the unlikeliest of duos. Back on the home planet, the human and warrior returned to the auction hall, not to bid, but to honor the place where their alliance had begun. The crowd gathered, this time with admiration rather than fear. The auctioneer, now smiling faintly, addressed them. "Never in my career have I seen such a bond formed in this hall. The feral Clivax warrior and the human." The human extended his hand toward the warrior. It stepped forward, nudging him gently with its forehead, a silent promise of loyalty and friendship. The crowd erupted in applause. And in that moment, it was clear to everyone present. Courage, respect, and understanding could tame what brute force alone never could. The lone human had raised his hand, defied fear, and earned not just a warrior, but a friend for life. The warrior roared once, a sound that no longer carried menace, but triumph. Together,